What's up, y'all? This is Cool Colas here. I'm just here to record another video that I think you guys will find pretty interesting. It's a little bit late here. When I say a little bit, like 4 in the morning, a little bit, which is a lot of bit late at night, recording this video. And one of the reasons why I'm on here is because I wanted to talk about something that I felt that was very interesting that I got to talk about on Facebook. This topic is about being a black revolutionary when you're a writer as well too, and specifically what I want to talk to y'all about is why I don't feel the need to be a black revolutionary when I write. So let's break that down a bit and kind of what I mean by that. So when I say a black revolutionary, I mean someone who feels the need to, in everything that they produce and everything that they show, talk about like issues, like justice issues, every waking moment. So, so someone who talks about more so like trauma. So like black trauma is like their central focus in everything that they do. I don't intend to be that type of person for a multitude of reasons. So one thing I want to make clear here is that when we talk about black revolutionaries, I'm not just talking about black people. I'm talking about white people who are also trying to be revolutionary for talking about black struggles as if they're deep or what they like to call woke, or like they have a good understanding of like black struggles and what message black people need to have out there in the world, because that's happened like way too often. For me personally, I want to just be able to tell really good, authentic stories. So there may be things where I do talk about the things that I think that our people need to see and need to be out there. And to be honest, a lot of it is not has nothing to do with some of the stuff that you see on TV. Where now, if you watch every show, they're showing a scene where a black person is getting pulled over by the police, and then there's a Black Lives Matter rally and all this other stuff. Like that's not, you're not going to see too much of that, like really from me. First of all, there's enough of it out there that doesn't really need to be out there, in my opinion. And also, I just have a different way of kind of like looking at stuff when it comes to our people. I think that there's an issue with our people being seen in power. I think that oftentimes I don't like the phrase like victimhood. I really don't care for it, but I think we get seen as weak, and it's not like as a thing of we need to impress white people, but it's a thing of being able to see ourselves in power. So this is more about black people seeing other black people in power and seeing themselves as powerful people. So I think that the messages that I need to put out are to show us in power. So in other words, to get beyond this whole, the only part of our history was slavery and all that. Now, mind you, that was terrible and it was tragic and it was something that never should have occurred. So I would never negate that, nor am I like speaking against that, and nor am I like trying to be on some Kanye stuff where I'm like, oh, well, slavery was a choice. I'm not doing all that. All I'm simply saying is that slavery really interrupted our history. It's not like just like the central focus of like what our history was about. We were kings and we were queens, and our women were queens, and I think that there's a lot of that piece of our history that almost never gets told. And I want to be able to create content that centers around that. So from a justice standpoint, I think that I would be talking about things like that in my writing, but I don't necessarily see that as a thing of like justice per se, but I see it as a thing of just dispelling a truth that doesn't really get told. So I guess I say that to say that I think that one of the biggest issues that I see is that we tend to, as black people, get caught up in thinking that we have friends, thinking that we have allies, and for the most part, we pretty much don't. We have ourselves, and the bottom line is that a lot of other nationalities, and then like white people, a lot of them like either see us as weak, or they see us as you know they some of the more liberal ones have been trying to go with this their strong narrative, but they've been kind of in my opinion do allowing you to say what you want to say up until they can kind of regulate it, and up until a certain point. I've seen a lot of that type of stuff going on, and what I've seen from our people is that we get into this thing of we see that there, and we think that that's what we need to see. Like we need to see like that trauma. We need to see people need to see that we're not being treated right. We're not being treated fairly. This and that, and we kind of get into this thing of basically doing a soft beg to white people to basically treat us in the way that we need to be treated, which we don't really, in my opinion, really need to do, because 400 plus years of this type of thing has been going on, and there's been no change. So what does that tell you? It tells you that you can't rely on something that will continue to rely on something that will never change. It's kind of like only a crazy person. What's the saying? Only a crazy person would do the same thing twice and expect like a different result or whatever. It's that type of thing. I think that we need to show that we're powerful people, but for our own people. So we can see. So like when kids they see, other black figures, they can kind of envision how their life may go. So instead of seeing themselves as people who are only going to amount to a certain place, or people who have to beg white people for jobs like later in life, or people who feel that the epitome of their success is when they go to school or they get a degree. They see different powerful figures and how they've actually used different ways to be able to come into fruition of who they are. And I think that when you're so focused on the trauma aspect and the whole I'm successful for white people standards and all that, I think it kind of takes away from your ability to see yourself as powerful, because you're caring about a group of people who historically have never really done anything to systematically dismantle the things that oppress you. You're basically taking, your fate into your own hands. So I'm just hoping to create more products that actually, exemplify that and to get away from that oppressive type of nature. Because it's like, why, as a black person, what would you want to re-traumatize your people with the stuff that they see every single day the minute that they walk out of their crib? The minute they walk out their crib, you're gonna probably experience some type of racism, whether you know it or whether you don't. So I think that the big issue that comes into play is that we re-traumatize ourselves, because when we come home after dealing with those things on the outside, we turn on the TV, and here we are seeing, like on a TV show where we're just trying to see some relationship issue or something. We see an episode where a black person's getting pulled over, and the white cop has like his knee on the person's neck or something like that, and then at the end of it, people think that it's good because the black person was able to like get off because they were arrested or whatever the case was, and the message at the end of it is like, oh, just keep fighting. Like, I don't want to keep doing that. It's so stupid, and I'm tired of it. I see it on like almost like every show that like wants to be quote unquote woke. It just irritates me. I want to create, images of ourselves in power, images of ourselves just doing things that exemplify who we were before, like America made slavery our whole image. Like that's the kind of like the main thing that I want to portray through a lot of the work that I'm doing from a quote unquote justice standpoint. But if we're just talking about the other stories, I don't really feel the need to do that in everything that I do. Sometimes I just want to tell like a cool story where, Maybe I got a black billionaire who, has their own business and, like is able to create like this cool super suit to be able to fight crime. Or, you got a black person who's in space and they're fighting off aliens and stuff like that. And they're trying to go to Mars to be able to create their own black utopia since Earth basically is a shithole for them. Like, I want to be able to create those types of scenarios, like things that are like a little whimsical, things that are a little bit different, things that are a little bit outside of the box. Like that's really what I'm here to produce, because we see the same old thing over and over again. And I'm not trying to leave the same stamp in this world that everybody else has been trying to basically like put down. So really, a lot of the stuff that I'm going to produce is going to be raw. It's going to be very honest, and it's going to be very like authentic to what I think that black people need. Now, mind you, I'm not a spokesperson for like all black people. I'm really not. Everybody is entitled to have like different mindsets, and I think a lot of like the different ideas that we come up with is, what can build us up stronger, as long as those ideals are to, help our people specifically, and there's not selfish motives behind them. But regardless, I'm just making the point that I'm trying to leave my stamp a little bit differently than the way that I've seen it, being left thus far. Just too often we just get into this idea that we have to recycle trauma, and we have to like basically create what I call trauma porn. I probably didn't create that saying. I think I've heard maybe other people use it before, but there's just too much trauma porn out there with our people. I mean, we just can't even get beyond it. We can't even get past it. And I think that I'm getting tired of that, and just this idea that by doing that, a lot of white people now feel inclined to just go on and basically say, "Oh, look at us. We're noticing all the issues that go on with black people, so everything's all good now because we're recognizing it." Meanwhile, like, nobody's cut the check yet. So, I mean, for me, I'm not going to keep perpetuating that bullshit, because that's really what it is bullshit. Anyway, so I just wanted to kind of hit on a few points as to why I felt the need to create, content that doesn't always have to be revolutionary. At the end of the day, I feel that the main thing that I want here is to show children that our people are powerful, and then to show just other adults that they're very powerful in their own regard. I think that it's very I think it's very important, and I think that it's gonna make or break what our future looks like, just as a black person. So anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this video. I probably would have a lot more to kind of like say about it in the near future. May make another video to kind of talk about some of my thoughts on it, and to kind of give you some more like concrete examples of what I mean by I see a lot of black revolutionaryism. But anyway, I hope you all enjoyed the video, and I will talk to y'all later. Peace.